combined for section 1 and 2, right?
That's correct. That's correct. It's only for once for two specific topic, but I don't know. But at least for the class that I take, it's a combined conversation that we will be having.
Yeah. So, sir, anybody doesn't have to join to section B link that has been shared also. So that is not working right now, right?
Yeah. So you will join that A+B link.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Seem to have working for you, right? Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Yeah, sir. This is Siddharth. Can you just tell me that the section B link will appear after the second half class, right? That is.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other administrative questions that you may have? You are most welcome to ask them now. That said, welcome to this class. I briefly introduce myself, but we will we'll make this journey together. Welcome to Avatar 2.0 in your learning. I hope it's an enjoyable learning and knowledgeable experience. I need to put this, I'm going to share this for once and then we will leave it aside. I have been sourcing this material from lots of places. So some of the sources, I need to acknowledge them. So by this one singular slide, I declare rights and ownership of these slides, which are from wherever I have sourced them out. I've done them for the purpose of teaching, and that's it. Let's carry on further. Some ground rules that you must know. Some of them you are aware of. Some of them I'll bring it to your notice now. Is that needless to say, you've chosen to do this by your own will. It's not like LKG or a school where your parent held your finger and hand and brought you to class. You're here on your own. So pay attention. You've spent your money. So pay attention, make the best out of this, and learn. Attendance in class is mandatory, and yeah, good to see you all right here since 8:30 in the morning. That's because we had the orientation. Otherwise, I guess you have a 6-hour session. Complete assignments and submitting on them on time on LMS is a must. You have just got out of that LMS and all that stuff, so you know that it's important. How do you learn it? Just a moment. I don't know if it's from DSU. I'll take this call. Hello. Hello. Oh, unfortunately, this call is another call. Okay. When in class, please be attentive. I know all of us are taking our classes, including the professor sitting on the other side. We're taking it from our homes. Try not to disturb yourself and try to ensure for sure that you don't disturb others. So there you go. That's why I said is that you must switch off your mute. It's a good example, right away. Okay, now how do I find this person who's... oh my God. Okay, so this, pay attention, make sure I don't have to go through this exercise very often. Online etiquettes need to be followed. I will pause in between so that you get a chance to ask questions and type in, use the chat very frequently. Don't bother about typos on the chat. You have to follow Zoom discipline or whatever discipline that needs to be called. To some of you who are now happily on video, please ensure that we have an undisturbed session. There are no prescribed books. Yeah, somebody talking.
Sir, sorry for interrupting. That if I need to ask some questions, then I will type it or I will ask it on the call.
Preferably, you can type the answer because I'll keep that window on the side open.
Okay.
But there are also pauses in between wherein you can unmute and ask the question. Yeah, I guess
Okay.
Siddharth, it's a learning process. We'll
Yeah,
start
yeah, yeah.
getting
That's
used to
well,
it.
typing and learning from the class is like, that problem bit. So, and like, talking
Perfect.
over
Got
that
it.
class will,
Got it.
yeah. Thank
Mute
you,
for
sir.
now. Mute for now. Okay, so there are no books. Only recommended books that I would want you to read and study. This is a management class. We expect you to behave like uh, uh, adults who are going to be future managers and leaders. And last, not the least, I'm here to teach and you're here to learn. Let's make that very clear. And this said, all of us will follow these instructions, specifically in my class, and we move forward. Okay, good. I would like to introduce myself to you all so that you know who is teaching you and why am I possibly best qualified to take you for the next 18 hours of the journey. My name is Ramesh Nagasamudram. I have, I've been teaching for the last I've been teaching since Modi took over the government. So that will make it 4, maybe 6, or maybe 7 years. I don't know, 4 years, 6 years for sure. So I've been taking up teaching quite seriously for the last 6 odd years and been enjoying it so far. But that said, otherwise I have a profession of my own. I come from an engineering background. I spent a few years of my life, or a sizable part of my life, I would say, handling RF and microwave components, doing hard R&D activity and RF work. I specialize working on antennas and things like that. And later on, as the journey took along and as I climbed up the ladder, I started into handling other profiles. Presently, I am a co-founder of a company called Aniara Communications or Aniara Spacecom, depends on which entity are you referring to. Um, this is a very niche domain. We work in the satellite and satellite services space. That's a space that's getting a lot of attention of late. The Indian government has just opened up the markets. We've been in this business for quite some time, and we operate globally. Now, classes going forward, we'll have a lot of interactions on this subject. So that's about me. Why did I choose to teach MBA? There are two sides to the coin. Is that I believe that I have some knowledge to share. Please switch off your videos. I have some knowledge to share. And having traveled a bit, having handled and donned many hats and caps, I'm reasonably qualified to take you through basics of marketing, basics of taking business forward, business development, and things like that. What do I expect to achieve? Well, India as an entity, or India as a nation, we have not had too many world leaders coming out of us. I hope to see some of you start up, lead an Indian company into a global sphere. I like to see some of you take up managerial positions and positions of respect in the industry years from now. And that's probably what I would like to talk about myself for now. We keep chatting. This is going to be a very interactive session, and I hope to make the conversation light. I hope to make it interesting. And needless to say, this is going to be a two-way conversation. Okay. That said, this is how you can reach me. I strongly encourage you all to follow me on Twitter, whoever is on Twitter. And I'm pretty slow when it comes to a response, but I guess it's fine with you all. That said, how is the typical class? The typical class runs for about 3 hours. We take up a subject for the class today, and I discuss about it. I explain on that subject, elaborate on the topic, quote instances, bring in some reference conversations. I'll also encourage you to talk about it, share your viewpoints. Marketing as such is relatively new, not more than 100 years old, I must say, in a very structured format. And I would, so we will take some historical references, we'll take some current references to the conversation. I will be drawing material from plenty of these sources. The uniqueness of the DSU education program is that we draw content from some of the finest resources. We have access to it, and we make sure that the students also get to work on some tough case studies which are well appreciated and circulated in some key reputed universities. So this is how we will be learning along. I'm here to educate you, not to examine you, but to give you an enrichment, make you excel and empower your guys in your career. Fine. And you will have lots of case studies to discuss, especially the subject of marketing. Just give me a minute here. I need to switch off this video. Yes, that refuses to go. Okay. So we have lots of case studies that we will be talking about. We'll make sure that they are interesting, and we've always had the best of the pedagogy being used here. Some of our sources come from, you have some listed out here, some mentioned here. And case studies are important because they help you understand what happened in a particular instance, help you understand and review that particular instance, look at the outcome, prepare yourself, or emulate such outcomes for possibly similar results. So this is always very encouraging from us. And I don't know how many of you can connect to this particular picture down below. As I said, we can take you that far. Beyond that, I expect you to do some hard work, and we can take the horse to the water, but the horse has to drink the water, right? What else do I have? Before I get into the first break. Okay, we'll have grouping and assignments. I don't know if you already know your groups. Are you aware of your groups by any chance? Any one of you? No? Yes? No, we are not? Okay.
No, as of now, we don't.
Okay, normally, never mind. By the end of the class today, you will have your group numbers assigned to you. So now you know that you are part of a group when it comes to group assignments. So you will have 2 assignments. You've been told that. I am just reiterating it. You will have 2 assignments, each carrying 30 marks. But specific to my subject, specific to and specific to term 1, the assignment is going to split into 20 and 10. The 20 marks is for a group assignment whenever there's a group assignment. The 10 marks will be for individual class assignments. I will be giving you an assignment online through Google Forms, and you will have to fill them up, complete that assignment. You will be individually evaluated for 10 marks and for how you contribute to the team for the assignment for 20 marks. Any questions so far? And you can ask me, before we get into the next topic. Okay, perfect.
No questions.
No questions, good. So why do I encourage creativity? I mean, why do I encourage group assignments? Is because it helps you to work as a team, and it will also bring in greater creativity and learning for each other. So that said, where are we now? Let's dig a little deeper. Most of today's conversation would be making you understand the importance of the career that you have taken, look at MBA from both sides, and prepare yourself towards the concept of marketing and how do we go forward. How many of you are aware of this word called metamorphosis? And what would you think is the meaning of that?
think
Any
it's
of
kind
you
of
know what is metamorphosis?
kind of transformation.
Kind of transformation. Very good. Yes. And anybody else?
Evolution.
Evolution. Okay, that's good.
Molding yourself to the circumstance.
Molding yourself to the circumstance. That's Russian speaking, right? Okay, good. Yeah, all that is very nice. But why am I bringing this here? This is not supposed to be a class on biology or zoology or whatever, anthropology, whatever that is. But why am I bringing this here? Is because you are at the right time, at the right place. Metamorphosis is as described by Wikipedia or any other standard dictionary. I've just copied that and pasted it here. One of the finest examples of metamorphosis would be the larva getting out to be a butterfly and an ugly looking creature to be a beautiful looking butterfly. And mankind himself has evolved over so many years. Man has moved away from there. Spandan seems to have raised a hand. What would that be for Spandan?
Yeah, just like that. I mean, just to give an explanation of metamorphosis
I cannot hear you.
instead of just speaking in the session, I thought that it's better if I raise my hand and yeah.
Okay.
To answer your question, yeah.
Okay, good.
So
good.
basically, sir, you say evolution, right?
Yes.
I would like to. I would like to say it is a complete process of change from one form to another.
So is that Anushika saying that?
Yes.
And Anushika, that's exactly what I want from you in the next 17 months. And that's exactly what I think you should strive for. Because there are very few of us, especially from an Indian perspective, there are very few of us who believe that we should go up for a second innings of learning. And most of us decide that, and especially there is this, the taboo or the myth saying that once you're married, nobody's going to study any further. Big man or woman, anybody that is. But all of you've come back from years of work or probably just into work. It's a brilliant decision. Take my word. I'm not giving you because you're already there, so I don't have to sell you this idea. But brilliant decision to take up this MBA. Timing is just about there. Everything is turned upside down over the last 12 months. And we don't know which way the world is going to head. At least we have some ideas coming up now. And holistic transformation, excellent. That's good. And
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would like to add into yes, of course. This 17 months will be a complete change for us. I'm saying because I have taken this hard decision because my kid is very small. He's just 2 years. It will become very difficult for us to think about ourselves sometime. But I thought that I'll take this decision and go forward and complete my the dreams of studying MBA.
Good.
And complete it.
Yeah, that's nice. That's very good. You just had Rukmini tell her part of the story. So I can see Anushika coming up on the stage a few years from now and telling how excellent was the journey and how she's done well in her career. Excellent. Good. Yeah, but remember, well begun is half done. You've just started your thing. It's going to be very challenging. That's it. Okay. So we've understood metamorphosis. All of you, Aparna, very good. Now let's talk of another subject. How many of you know what's the meaning of what is this? Efficiency of locomotion. What is efficiency?
So I don't know what is the meaning of locomotion, but locomotive is something that is in engineering. I am for mechanical, so basically the locomotive
if you
engineer.
are from mechanical, you are inviting trouble. I can tell you.
I would say smooth movement from one place to another.
Locomotive, right?
Yeah. Locomotion. Yeah. Locomotive is a noun. Locomotion is a verb.
Motion.
moving from one place to
Yeah.
other place.
So
basically.
what is efficiency of locomotion?
Do just what is needed.
Okay.
Moving
At
from
the right place, at the right place.
Moving towards better place.
Okay, all good, all good. Okay, all of you, what is, hang on. When I do a timeout, nobody talks. Okay, otherwise we'll make it noisy. Trust me, we'll make it very noisy. But I am the referee, I'm the umpire, I'm the batsman.
Agreed.
Okay, so yeah, but anyway, so when you go to buy when you are buying a Maruti Suzuki car, what do you ask? What is that? Kitna? What's that?
कितना देता है?
So what is efficiency of locomotion now called?
Less fuel, more mileage.
Okay, so why am I saying this and what's happening to me? I seem to have forgotten that I'm supposed to be teaching you marketing and I'm teaching you mechanical engineering. But
yeah, so, but I am also MTech in automobile engineering. So basically that
you must get your locomotion in order.
Yeah, right. That
okay,
is
good. Siddharth, let's move forward. There's plenty to converse. Let me because we have a shorter session today. We have a shorter session today, so let's go forward. Perfect. So efficiency of locomotion is a very important parameter. Is because it tells how efficiently are you using your calories or your fuel or whatever the source of energy is. And there's no better example than the Andean condor, which can fly for 100 miles without flapping its wings. Now, this as a cue, I move to the next slide here, which is if you pay attention to the slide to the picture on the right, you would notice that there's a man circled in red and there's a man on bicycle circled in green. Now, the efficiency of locomotion for mankind is very, very low. Mankind is not very, very efficient, or the human being is not very efficient when it comes to an individual by himself. He's probably 1/3 down the best of the category, which is the condor. But, the moment man gets on a cycle, he just becomes twice more efficient as the condor. And remember, man is the only person on the PowerPoint mode, but just don't bother, Shiju. This is probably one last slide on the small font. Okay, so man is the only known creature, human being, animal, who can improvise, who can do better, who is a tool maker. Now, man has this super capability to look at things around him and make tools which will give him greater efficiency. Like if you have a pulley, you know what the pulley does? It improves efficiency by a multiplication factor. Now, this particular thing is of so great relevance is that the Scientific American brought out this particular graph, which showed that man is able to outperform his own in her working capability by the use of tools. Now, Steve Jobs was so carried away by this article that he always called the computer the bicycle for man. And at one time, he actually wanted to call it a cycle before it became known as the Macintosh. So why am I saying this is today you must use the next 17 months to create new tools for your career. You must use every moment of these 17 months sitting with your professor, sitting with the books, working along with your colleagues and classmates, doing assignments with just one motive is that this is going to be the tool which will just catapult me to a different level. Okay, So this is something that I wanted to bring it up. I'm sure you will enjoy it. And again, what are the skills that we are looking at when it comes to mid-level and higher level positions in any organizations? These are skills that I can read it out for you, or you could read it by yourself. By default, I don't read PPTs. It's for you to read. I work around the PPTs for the conversation. So as you would see, not much changes between the skill of a mid-level manager to that of a CEO, except that he must have the ability to think outside the box. Whereas a mid-level manager has a little bit of a restrictions in how much of flexibility that he can do to provide better results. So these are the skills that either you already possess them, have been putting them to use in your own personal career, or these are skills I want you to develop. These are skills that you should look at it. And if you look at these skills, it doesn't generally involve an individual. It's all involving a team, ability to communicate, ability to build relationship, organization and delegation, interpersonal skills, motivation. This is all involving people around you. It's only when you can have better subordinates that your organization can grow. And that's only when you can also go up the ladder. So remember that you have to develop these skills. We will try. I mean, you have some of the finest professors who will take you along this journey, who will make sure that these thoughts are built into you, these thinking processes are built into you, and we'll make sure that a fine product is coming out of it, right? So any questions so far on our conversation? So finally, some more before I get into the topic. So can you put it in the PowerPoint mode, please? I think finally it looks like I have to do that, right? Or is it the same one? Okay. So these are the skills that are expected out of MBAs. There are quite a few of them, as you can see: ability to influence others, strategic thinking, big data analysis, ability to work as a team, ability to work with people, network of people. Oh my God, it's all about working with others. Time management and priority. Time management and priority is something that you will have to do, because not one, not two, not three, but 4 professors are going to pound you saying that you have to submit your assignments in time. So you will have to submit your assignments in time. You will have to work on time. You will have to take care of your family, and just still party on a Friday evening. But this is what you have to learn to do. And this is going to be interesting 17, 18 months for you. Make the best of it. It never comes back. And let's take it forward. What is big data analysis? I don't know why is it here. Can anybody tell me what is a big data analysis? What does big data analysis mean?
Interpretation of
We interpret the
information.
data.
Interpreting what?
Data, available data.
Interpreting lots of data. Some example.
Numbers.
Complex data.
Example.
What the numbers are telling.
So big data analysis is churning the data into simplest form, which any other company can use in getting the data of a customers or their valuable employees. So which is converted into a simplest form and it is readable by other people.
Okay, excellent.
Example would be the e-commerce sites which continuously get data from Google searches and everything, so that
Amazon,
they can show
Flipkart.
suggestions.
Yeah.
Okay, it is basically collecting the data, analyzing it, and extracting the information out of it.
Perfect. And making meaningful sense out of that.
Yes.
So analyzing the data and getting the information about the pattern of data.
Example, e-commerce, which kind of product is getting sold in which hour more. So that kind of information we are getting.
I think it's interpretation of data. This is very, very critical.
Perfect. Got it. Got it.
What's
Got it.
numbers
Got
are
it.
telling?
Time out.
What
Time out.
numbers
Time
are
out.
telling?
Time out. Time out. Let's move further. Perfect. So that's big data. That's good. I always like to say big data is something that you will find in e-commerce sites. You will look at how Amazon can why every Amazon home page looks different for each one of us, because he knows you and he wants to tell you something. But then again, big data analysis is very interesting. If you ever visit a store, or you visit, I can't think of anything, Shopper Stop or any other place. Shopper Stop may be a bit of an overkill, but something lower than a Shopper Stop, wherein you have the security standing right there. The moment you walk in, the security presses a button. You know what button does he press? Of course, now he presses the button.
The counters.
On the thermal, yeah, the counter. Perfect. Deepak and others. Perfect. He puts a counter. He says that every time somebody walks in, he presses that counter, and at the end of the day, he goes to the manager or the shop owner and says, "Sab, 60 log aaye andar." Oh, 60 people turned up to my shop. Excellent. Then he calls the manager at the counter and said, "How many invoices did you make?" He says, "Sara, 11 banaya." So he said there's something that 60 people walked in and only 11 sales done. So now that is some data that he might be able to do with. But the data is so irrelevant today, because he doesn't know if among those 60 people who walked in, how many were kids, how many were senior citizens, how many were those assisting the lady with a kid or something like that. So sometimes just huge amount of data doesn't really make sense unless and until we know what data we are seeking for. So similarly, many a time, big data is useless unless and until there is a meaningful to that. That said, oh yeah, so why did this come up? Okay, that said, how do you develop these skills in an MBA? How do you develop these skills in MBA? These are three skills that these are the three pillars of a man's character. A man, as in the larger definition, of course, it means man and woman, is that any manager, any entity should have these three characters. That is ethos, pathos, and logic. Credibility. I mean, is your manager credible? I mean, does he know what is he talking about? Many a time, at least I quit once in my career because I had a manager who's dumb. Now, I know I have to report to him, but beyond a point, I just cannot, because there is no credibility in him. So, so that is, if you show credibility, you become a leader. You have followers, and you have your subordinates willing to follow you. Second is, you're not a robo. You must have emotion. You must be compassionate with what the other individual is. Whenever you must understand that people are going through difficult times, and even in this case, the dean and Captain Nagaraj Rao has told us that, I know these are challenging times for you guys, and we should make sure that we take care of you well as you go through maybe personal transitions or through career changes. So that is, there must be emotion, and possibly man is probably the only one who can manage his emotions very well. Finally, logic. Does any decision that you take have any meaning to it? Will you be able to stand and justify the reasoning? If you're sacking somebody, or if you're promoting somebody, or if you are taking a decision against the other, why are you doing it? There must be logic. So these are Greek words: ethos, pathos, and logos. Get them in your mind. They have to show up. But the question to all of us is, sir, abhi kahan? Where will I be able to change now? I'm already, I don't know how many years. I'm already 32. I'm 35. I've had enough of career experience. I don't think I can change now. Our grandfathers don't change, right? They are so rigid in their own behavior. But you're wrong. That's because Homo sapiens, as we are called, are the only individuals who can change. Now look at these. Can you put a penguin in a desert? It's going to die. Can you put a camel in an Arctic or the Antarctic? It's going to die, definitely. But mankind has that in him to adapt, and to adapt. Because human beings, and I read this somewhere, is the most flexible personality, as Priya says. And why are we so? Why are we so? Is because we are the least wired animal. What does that mean? We are the least wired animal. The moment an elephant, baby elephant is born, it's able to start walking. The moment you have a penguin, it'll start swimming, but not us. We can't, we take 8 months, 10 months to even start walking. But that's because we are least wired. We are only wired to do some basic stuff like cry, suck, make some noise, or whatever that is. Every other skill is adapted. Now, if every other skill is adapted, you can adapt new skills. You can adapt your skills that you're going to learn for the next 17 months. You can take up subjects which you like, but you're not in a profession that supports you. Yeah, some of you may be doing HR, but you may love accounting. But this is the best time for you to do a switch. So that is what I wanted to tell you all. You're never too old to learn. Your brain is programmable. And today you have no choice, because if you don't learn, you are out. And why do I say so? It's because Yuval Noah Harari. How many of you have heard this gentleman called Yuval Noah Harari? Yuval Noah Harari is one of the finest thinkers. You have read his book, Chetan? That's brilliant. That's very nice. I like it. All of you should read about him and read about his quotes to begin with. So he said, there was a time in our life where we had what is called a learning period, and then we had a working period, right? That's how our father and our grandfather grew up. They learned for 20 years, 22 years, and they worked in the same organization for 32, 42 years or whatever, and retired. I had this friend of mine whose father is to work for BHEL, and then I think it was pretty old. So I asked him, Uncle, when did you retire? So he said, Ramesh, I retired 36 years back. I said, what the hell? I mean, what are you saying, Uncle? So he said, no, the day I joined BHEL, I retired. It's because there's nothing to do. You just have to, it's a government job. You just have to chill out. And what does BHEL stand for? Be happy and enjoy life. So, but that's not going to work anymore now. That's not going to be work anymore. We are going to be absolutely challenged. We are going to be, you have to keep learning. Whatever that you have learned, you will get obsoleted. It will very, very soon. And it's only after that that you will be able to. Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Or maybe I will move to the subject of conversation and then I'll take the break. Okay. So, small data is as important as big data. Now, I would like to tell you one particular story about what is small data. How many of you know Nokia? I'm sure there's not one who doesn't know.
Everyone knows.
Everybody knows Nokia.
I'm using Nokia phone.
Oh, welcome to a very free. Very, very good. Very good. Okay, so now, Nokia and Ericsson were pretty good mobile phone manufacturers till very recently. And the story that goes along, probably the story in 2002 or 2003 or whatever, not very relevant to our conversation. My first mobile as well, sir. Kavita, my first mobile, and probably everybody's first mobile and last keypad mobile, I think. Yeah, of course, we had our Blackberries as such. Can you mute yourself on the video, my friend? Stop your video. Yeah. Okay, good. So this story goes along is that Nokia was generally a world leader, getting along well and making significant market access and market reach. Now, Ericsson also was doing well, trying to get into wanted to be a very competitive player in this industry. What is the time? Okay. What happened was they both were sourcing their chips or the whatever the SoC or whatever the RF chip or whatever that was called from one manufacturer, that was Philips. And Philips was probably one of the best known guys who are doing these silicon chips for mobile phones. Now, Ericsson came out with a product or were just about planning to come out with a product which would revolutionize the market. Now, that product was very unique. What was that product? They felt that every time Rajat or Abhinandan or Kavita wanted to speak on the phone, she or he had to stop, hold the phone in his hand and talk. So they were saying, why not we come out with a unique device? Of course, this wired thing is very lousy. It seems to hang over all over us. Why don't we come with a small device which will just sit in the ear and it will seamlessly start talking to the phone, and it will make it very easy. They can run and talk, they can be on the treadmill and talk. So all that is what they wanted to do. And so that is how Ericsson said that I will come out with what is called the Bluetooth. So they were, and this was before anybody else came up with a device similar to that. And they felt that this device is going to really make us market leaders in the business. So they were all getting ready for it. And then what happened was, one fine day, they got a call from one of the Philips foundries, and the foundry where these chipsets are being manufactured. They got a call saying that, hey, listen, guys, I'm calling from the Netherlands factory here. We've had a small fire and nothing really. There's a small fire. We just doused it in half an hour. Everything is going on fine. I don't think there'll be a problem, but even if there is, I think there'll be a 1 or 2 days delay in the shipment. You don't have to worry about it. So this guy at Ericsson, who got this guy at the bottommost level in the hierarchy, he picked up this message and went and told his boss. So the boss said, okay, so what did he say? He said, sir, nothing to worry. Everything will be fine. You don't have to worry about it. Be probably 1 or 2 days delay. Okay, let's not bother. Now, the Philips guy also called up Nokia. And Nokia said, and the Nokia guy also down the hierarchy went to his manager and said, the small fire in Philips, what do I do about it? So he said, oh, small fire in Philips. Let's get a little more prepared. Why don't you check with other Philips factories if they are also manufacturing similar chipsets? And if they have, why don't you block them? Now, needless to say, you know where the story is heading. The small fire was no doubt a small fire, but as you know, sometimes they say that the cure is more dangerous than the disease. In this time, I think they liberally poured water all over the place. And Netherlands, as you know, is below water. No, I'm just joking on that point. So the fire, though small, the damage was large. So a week later, the guys from Philips come back and say, who's this?
I am scanning. Idhar se jana.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay, guys, you should mute, huh? Otherwise, it can be troubling. And you're attending a class, I expect you to be mute. Otherwise, I will lose the whole flow of conversation. This is not a class in school, not a class in graduation. It's a post-graduation course. You paid for it, pay attention to it, and have better etiquettes. Okay, thanks. Okay, so where was I? So it was not a small fire. The fire though was small, caused enormous damage. And they said that looks like we're going to be late by a couple of months. Now, that was when Ericsson started panicking. They said, my God, what's going to happen? So they called up other snowball effect. Absolutely. They called other branches. And then they said, listen, we're looking for this particular chipset. Are you also manufacturing them? They said, yes, we are the other factories of Philips. We are manufacturing them, but we can't disclose. Somebody else has blocked it. Now you know what happened. Years down, Ericsson had to declare bankruptcy. They were not able to succeed. Of course, they launched their Bluetooth phone, but by that time, Nokia had smelled every other thing that Ericsson is doing. And Ericsson had to sell itself to Sony. Sony Ericsson also did not work. And there you go, Nokia became a world leader. We also have another story of why Nokia also collapsed, but that's for another conversation. So sometimes it's not just big data, it's small data which also matters. It's also about the ability to think, the ability to look at the hidden message in small bits of data as to what is going on. So I thought I will share this story with you all. And then one other story for us to talk about is that how many of you know what is a Super Bowl? It's an event in the US. How many of you know what's a Super Bowl?
Rugby event in US, the largest.
That's a big event, right? It's the, I mean, we put it mildly and put it very funnily. It's the IPL of US, right? Okay, so it's that big event. It's that huge event that happens. It's a sporting event, and the finals of the sporting event is one of the most highly watched events. Maybe just a shade lower than some of the world sports. Now, advertising in a Super Bowl is huge. You need to spend lots and lots of money to advertise in a Super Bowl event. And one of the greatest success stories of Apple, has been. Okay, how do we get this sorted out? Okay, anyway, we'll get that sorted out. So one of the greatest success stories of one of the success stories of Apple has been that yeah, but I could keep admin access with me, but I believe that you must talk and you must unmute yourself, raise your hand, speak. But when you're not speaking, you must mute. And we are now almost 10 months into a Zoom world, if not earlier. So anyway, doesn't matter. It happens. We are all under pressure. So this is another story that I wanted to share it with you all, but we will move forward and we'll see what happens. Again, the ability to think different. I'm just warming you up. I'm warming you up for a course in marketing, but I'm just bringing you up to thinking. How many of you have seen The House of Cards over Netflix? House of Cards over Netflix is one of the finest stories of somebody who started looking very differently. Excellent. And there are lots of stories associated with House of Cards and how House of Cards was able to actually look at the Trump world and all that. Very nice. But then what is unique about the House of Cards was that House of Cards was one of the first Netflix sponsored or Netflix, I don't know what is the term that you use for it.
Originals.
Serials. Yes, correct. Originals from Netflix. That's correct. But what did they do is that earlier it was one serial every day or one episode every day, and you would have an element of suspense, and you had to wait for the next 24 hours, wait for the 8 o'clock show or the 9 o'clock show, and then you watch the next episode. But House of Cards, Netflix, and the media house that made it, Media Rights Capital, said that we are going to do it very differently. We're going to put all episodes one shot. And that is how the word binge watching came up. And as you would notice, that was exactly what you and I wanted. We did not want to sit every day. We had our work, we had our schedules, but we still wanted to catch up with some of the entertainment. So there were stories like I did binge watching for 6 hours, which means that I ran through 12, advertisement free. So this is how Netflix was able to be a leader. That is because you start thinking differently. So more differently you start thinking, even in a world which is very crowded, there is space for you. That's the point that I wanted to think. Lastly, probably I have one more example of how to do strategic thinking. How many of you have enjoyed a cup of coffee in Starbucks? All of us, right? Between taking somebody, a business associate, to Starbucks or to Cafe Coffee Day, we would love to go to Starbucks because Starbucks has a lot of branding. And Starbucks was started by Howard Schwartz. Now, what is unique about Howard and Steve Jobs were both of them were thrown out by the company that they started. Steve Jobs got thrown out. Even this gentleman was thrown out. And similar to him, I said, that's Rukmini. No, I said for your office meeting. So I'm sure your office will pay for it, right? Yeah, correct. But of course, if we'll go to the nearby buy two coffee. 2x3 coffee, 1 sugarless, 1 tea. That is the joke, right?
Yeah, sir, actually, sorry for interruption. That Netflix doesn't provide any advertisement. Means I never see Netflix. I am not on Netflix, so that's why I am asking. And Netflix never give any advertisement.
Netflix doesn't run advertisements in their series.
Yeah, Siddharth.
You have to subscribe for it.
Okay.
You have to subscribe for it. Right. Just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
YouTube. If you want to experience YouTube without interruption.
Yeah, that also, but I never know about only Netflix. That's why I'm asking. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I think you should. The assignment to you, Mohammed, is to subscribe for, if you have we will talk about Netflix. Mohammed, for you is subscribe for Netflix, watch one episode and tell me what do you like about it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good.
Okay.
So what I'm saying, so this guy, Starbucks outside of Howard was not doing very well. What is the time? 12 o'clock. Okay. Was not doing very well. So when Howard came back in his second innings, he noticed that the stores were not doing well. There was no wow factor in the store. So he did something that's absolutely unimaginable. He shut down all the stores. He said, we are shutting down all our stores and not opening it up till we have realigned ourselves. That's a huge risk in business to take. But it's only when you take these huge risks, think out of the box, and do it very differently that you will be successful. And needless to say, he came back and they continue to dazzle the rest of the world. So these are some examples that I wanted to talk to you. Now I'm going to give you a bit of an assignment. What am I going to do is that I want you all to introduce yourself. There are 90 of you or 110 of you, I don't know. There are 99, that makes me out. So that's 98 of you. And I want each one of you to tell me about yourself. Now, I'm not going to allow you lots and lots of words to do it. If you are on Twitter, you should be able to say that in just 140 characters. How do you say it in 140 characters? There are some examples here. There are some examples that I put about myself. There is Professor Tejas Rao, who will start teaching you very soon. And here is what he says about himself in 140 characters. There is Professor V.V. Rajan. with whom you may have interacted or will definitely interact in the days to come. All of them are trying to say a little bit about themselves in 140. Yes, I will paste it. I will paste it. So let me just go back to this mode. And before you start working on it, let me also give you some more tips to be able to do that. No, this has gone private. Everyone. Okay. Anybody not able to access it can tell me. We'll see what is going on. This is some ways of doing it. Twitter resumes are becoming very popular. Do we get a copy of this presentation file? Absolutely yes, is the answer. Okay. And these are Twitter resumes. There are some ideas for you to look at. This is how you do, but I'll not get too much. Make sure your sentences are short. Make sure you don't use repeated words. Make sure there is some humor in your outlook. And most importantly, you have to do it because you will be evaluated. Got it? You remember I told you your assignment is for 30 marks, and out of those 30 marks, 10 of it is, but it's asking for group number, which is not aware of. It doesn't matter. Just ignore it. As you would notice that that's not a mandatory column for you to fill in. Okay. That is strategic thinking, right, Marvin? Okay. So take your time, make it good. You have to fill in now. I'm going to give you a 10-15 minutes break for you to rewrite. It cuts you off at 140 character. You cannot fill in greater than that. And
Sir, where is the Google link?
Where is the Google link?
Yeah, that's I don't.
It's almost saying. Now, do you have it?
Yeah.
So there's a like group number in the form.
So ignore. That's not a mandatory.
That's not mandatory, right? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, because normally you're supposed to get that. So skip. Good.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. Right. So take your time and I will evaluate for it. So that and something else will constitute a 10-mark evaluation so that I know how you are. I've also have other questions in that which talks about how many years of work experience, and there's something else.
Yeah.
Which company do you like? Or
yes.
something.
What is the favorite company?
I'm unable to do.
Yeah.
Due to some problem in my system. So Deepa, I cannot be of much help. We do it now. So your time starts now. It's 11:57. I'm going to give you time till 12:10 and you will submit it right away. Questions? I'm available here to take your questions. I'm going to pause the recording. Think and enter. You write, rewrite, do whatever you want. Good? I'm recording. Twitter resumes, it's for you to read. We'll go for it. Now let's get into a slightly more detailed, serious conversation. What time does my class get over? 10:45, 11:45, 1:15 or something, right? Okay, there's time for me. So let's look at this. What is expected out of a manager? Manager, we know, we read enough of it. A manager should have vision. Manager should have. Am I on video? Okay, manager should have vision. He should have goals. He should be able to visualize things and all that. Now let me look at this. Let's look at all people who make your company. The most important person in the company is the coffee boy, right? No doubt about it. If that guy is not there, and life is going to be tough. So we have somebody who is going to serve you coffee, and then you have somebody who is the team lead. Then you may have a group head. Then you may have a business head, depending on your organization, depending on who you are, which entity, which sector you belong. You may call them by different names, but that is how a hierarchy in any organization would look like, right? And then you have a senior management, and then there is the CEO, of course. But let's look at the life of a coffee boy. What are his problems in life? His problems in life are, anybody can say, what are his problems in life? What do you think he's going to be worried about? You can type. Let's for some time use the typing mode, not necessarily.
Worried about his job first?
Worried about his job. Okay, everybody is worried about his job, including the CEO. He's less paid. No, we'll assume that he gets the finest jobs, finest salary.
Delivering is most important on time.
Correct. Okay, good. What else?
Ensuring the coffee is hot.
Absolutely.
Actually, ensuring the good quality of coffee and elevating his life.
Perfect. Okay, time out. Now let me explain what I'm saying. Is that his problem is Priya, his problem is Anushika, his problem is Sanbaran, because he doesn't know how many coffees have to be served to them. For example, for some reason, Priya is going to call for a meeting with her clients and customers, and that's additional 20 cups of coffee that needs to be served. He doesn't know how to manage his day. But at the end of the day, when he goes back home, he is not carrying his work. He's done. Right? His
Exactly.
pain
Too
point,
much about.
yeah, his pain point is just limited to a day. His pain point is limited to a aaj ka din ho gaya, chalo kal dekh lete hain. But the team lead is not having that problem. The team lead has a different kind of a problem. The team lead is saying, oh my God, today how many of them are going to be reporting sick? How many of them are going to say, sir, barish hai, main nahi aa raha hu, and all that excuses. Oh, because he has something to deliver this week. So he's only worried about how his team is going to be coming back on, right? So that is the team lead's problem. He just hands on for a week, and if that week is done, he's doing it. But the group head has greater responsibility. The group head is not worried whether Pramod has come to work or not, or whether Priya has reported to work or not. The group's head is, how do I meet my monthly target? How do I do what has been given to me and to be done in a month? So that is his problem. That is his problem. Now, the business head's problem is totally different. The business head is least bothered whether coffee is served, or if Priya is getting 20 guests for the conversation, or if somebody reported to work or not, or what is going to happen this month. That person's problem is, how do I meet the quarterly target that I have been assigned by my senior manager? If team A doesn't do, team B has to do for me. So he starts looking at it differently. Now, finally, mute. Okay, finally, we're going to have the senior management. What is the senior management thinking? The senior management is thinking, oh my God, there is a pandemic. How am I going to be? What is going to be the output for the year 2021? Are we going to be doing very badly? How are we going to get through? But the CEO has different kind of a problem. The CEO is saying, okay, pandemic aya. The CEO is least bothered who came to work or not. He's saying, how will the business be 5 years from now? 5 years from now, how will I have to look at it? He is not worried about this year. He's not worried about this week. He's not worried about any one of them. He's worried about what is going to be, because he has to take the company forward for the next 5 years. So all of us have to look at where we are in the chain. Am I working for 3 years, but I have a greater responsibility? Am I working for 15 years, but I'm down the decision-making chain? This 17 months should technically equip you to move from this position to the next position. So that is something that I was very keen to convey to you all about. Okay. Yeah, we'll take a 1 minute question on this, and then we'll go forward. Anything on this?
So he's stuck on his same position, right? He's stuck for his same position for the next 40 years, the coffee boy. He never grows. He never grows.
Correct.
That is the biggest problem, I think so. Is that?
Yeah, he also has to move up the ladder. But what is his contribution levels to the company is what I'm looking at. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Good. So now we will go to the next subject, which is what are we going to do in marketing management? We're going to have 90 days of continuous interaction. What do I mean by that? All of you are now on a WhatsApp group, right? There's a WhatsApp group that's created. I'll make sure, or we will make sure that there's always some interaction going on. I will bring you up to the stage if there are some interesting topics that are happening in the world today. How many of you read the Economic Times? Is there anybody who reads Economic Times, Business Standard, or any other business magazine? Anybody there?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. So I want every one of you start reading it. I want every one of you to look at it. What is happening in the world around? Why do you think Paytm, Google Pay, and PhonePe are worried today?
They have not have the enough employee to provide their services.
And the competition has been increased because of this online shopping.
Adil is perfect.
WhatsApp
Adil.
got the
Yes, WhatsApp
The
has also
what's
come into business.
the
WhatsApp has got the final clearance. Now, what does that mean?
Yeah, I think they started from yesterday.
This WhatsApp is the
Competition. So right now we have to use multiple apps and we need to switch between WhatsApp and other things. Now, once WhatsApp comes in, then we can easily like chat itself, we can do the payments.
So if you were the CEO of Google Pay, would you be worried today?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I need to think about other alternatives and other strategies. How can I improve?
And how many of you think that WhatsApp will come and kill every other payment gateway?
Yes,
I do.
It's the easiest mode.
Easiest way.
I do
Because we all use WhatsApp more than any other app. So
Correct.
it's easier
Even
to communicate
if
and
our phone doesn't work, it doesn't matter. WhatsApp works, it's okay.
yes, we will always come online and we will.
WhatsApp can
We
capture
rely
the
on
market.
that app more than anything else.
I don't
Even
think so.
for transaction.
WhatsApp can do a competition.
Excellent.
There's a room
It's
for
getting one platform for all things.
Mute. So then we have, so that will be 90 days of continuous interaction between you and me. Then we'll have 18 hours of class sessions. We've now into the second hour of the 18 hours. We meet 6 times. So we will have classroom activities. You just did one Google Word form. So I'll give you many more. And you will have 2 assignments. I'll ensure that you have sleepless nights. I'll make sure that you have things to worry about. You will have deadlines to think about. But at the end of the day, I hope you will climb up the ladder. Okay, good. Then we'll this is something that we will move forward outside of this. Now, little more into marketing. I have been talking for an hour and 20 minutes, but still not got into marketing. That's because I am warming you up. We must talk all around the subject. As I said, there are no books, but I want to get you interested and then move forward. So if you start looking around, you will see that nothing has changed. Everything else has been the same thing. It's just that somebody does, you know what is a tadka, right? What is a tadka? What does tadka do to the food?
It gives the immense pleasure to the.
It gives the immense
Add spice.
Especially
Spice and
at 12:20, 12:30, after a long day at 8:30, you wish you had some nice tadka and all that, right, for your food. So similarly, you will notice that if you look at food, earlier you drove in or walked in to a place. If that place did well, it opened up franchisee outlets. Then you wanted somebody to tell you how was the review of that restaurant. Then it became Zomato. Then somebody told you, "Arey yaar, itna dur kya jana? We will bring that food to you." So then somebody started bringing food to you. Then they said, "Why call up that number? We'll give you an app. We will deliver that food to you." Then finally, they told the restaurant owner, "Why should you at all exist in this world? Why don't you exist in the cloud So they became cloud kitchens. So there you go. Nothing. The food is food, but it just how the packing is done. Same thing with travel. You still, yes, please.
In future, I think you can hire top chefs and cook in your home only.
Absolutely. But food is still food. That's the point I'm trying to say. The product is still the same. Uber has come. Uber has only brought in the differentiator, as Dhruva says. You still traveling by the cab. You were earlier standing on the footpath and flagging the cab. If you are in Delhi, how many of you, I don't know if you were in Delhi and you were in the pre-Uber days, there used to be these taxi stands near your house and you had to take an early morning 6 a.m. flight. You would go to this taxi, and normally a Sardarji group of Sardars, you would tell them, हमको 4 बजे airport drop करना है, भेज दीजिएगा. And you would use all the gods that you know and pray that this taxi guy comes at 4 o'clock and takes you. So that was how the world was. Now you have cabs on demand, and now you have Ubers with shoppers as well. And now not only these Ubers, they also provide you television, they provide you internet, and there is no greater joy than what I experience when I sit into a Uber or a Ola. I think it's an Ola. If you sit in an Ola Prime, the moment you walk in, it says, "Dear Ramesh, welcome." Wow, that's the greatest joy of being so important. So, but it's still the same cab, it's still the same road, still the same driver. It's just that the content delivery has changed. That's what we are going to be discussing on the subject called marketing. Same thing with theaters. I'll not go beyond it now. I want you to stay on that. Look at this. How many of you know what is VWorks? I work out of a VWork.
So working space that has been common space that has been given where you can, just work anywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What does VWork say? Yeah.
Shared space, basically.
Correct.
Shared space.
What does VWork say? Is that VWork says, pay for the desk, I will give you coffee. But you can also go to Starbucks, pay for the coffee and sit whole day. So nothing different between VWorks and coffee. I mean, per se, to some extent, is that you pay for coffee, we give you the desk free. You pay for the desk, we give you coffee free. That is one way of the doing. Second is, Jio said, pay for data, we'll give you voice free. Now, Airtel said, pay for voice, we'll give you data free. It is all about how you protect it. Then you know who started all this Galata. There was a company called Tata Docomo. Docomo was, you're absolutely right, Rajat. I hope everybody can see what's on the chat, right? Yes. Okay, good. So Docomo did wonders. I would just call Rajat and say, Rajat, are you attending the class? He says, yes. Conversation ends in 10 seconds and I get billed for 1 minute. Man, that is robbery. That's daylight robbery. That's what Tata Docomo said. And they said, you talk for 10 seconds, we'll bill you for 10 seconds. Brilliant. Nothing changed. It's all about how you play with it. Now tell me, how many of you are smart boys and girls here? What is it that Jio did recently on similar times? What did Jio recently do? No,
They
on
give
the
out
mobile. On the mobile, they did something very unique, very recently, very, very recently.
You can carry over the leftover data.
No, I'll tell you what they did. And let's see how many of you, okay, stop. What they did was the ringing period, they reduced it by 10 seconds. You know what does that mean? That if I am calling from my Jio phone to Rukmini, who is on Airtel, normally it rings for 15 seconds. Now, at the end of 7 seconds, it disconnects. Now, how does Jio benefit from that? Because now Rukmini will have to call me back from Airtel to my Jio number. And since the call is terminating at Jio, Airtel has to pay Jio. So there you see, nothing has happened. It's just the fine tuning of the way you do business. And that's what is called the changing the rules of the game. And that is how business happens. I hope you guys are getting my conversation.
Professor, how Airtel has to pay for it?
As per the telecom, the terminating party gets paid.
Okay.
The terminating party
So
gets
terminating
paid.
party means? Terminating party means?
If a call is from Airtel to Airtel, it is all within the network. But if the call is from Airtel to Jio, and if Airtel collects 1 rupee from you, Airtel will have to give 20 paise or 30 paise to Jio, because Jio is taking the call, terminating the call, and handling the call. Now, because
What if the
Jio
call
has
is not
cut off
answered?
the time. Yes, please.
What if the call is not answered?
When the call is not answered, nothing happens. That's exactly what Jio did. They made sure that you cut it off before the call happens, right?
Is it chargeable at that time also?
No, at that time it's not chargeable.
Jio gets paid.
Right. So anyway, you get the message. We'll go beyond that now. Same. Look at the other issue here. They say that if you buy a boost packet, we'll give you a racket. Now, all of us want to buy the boost not because of it. We want to buy it because of the
Badminton.
packet. Or somebody says you buy. How many of you have kids who love Kinder Joy but actually play with the toy and throw the sweet?
I bought the kids, they love it.
Everybody, right?
Yeah.
So what does it mean? It's the same product. Please pay attention to what I'm saying. Is because I am getting you into the subject. Same product, promotion is different. Same product, promotion is the driver. Why are you buying Boost? You are buying Boost because of the racket. It's not because Boost is tasty. There was a time when it says, Samsung says that free screen replacement. So what is the selling point? It's not Samsung as a mobile, but it's the fact that I may break the screen and I get a free replacement. So this is what happens. This is what is marketing all about. We are getting slightly into the product. Same product, promotion is the driver. Okay.
Sir, can I add one more thing to the point, whatever you are telling about the marketing?
Yes, please.
So actually recently in the Flipkart or Amazon sale, so they will offer like 2,000 cashback if you spend 10,000. So that person is not ready to spend 10,000, but since he is getting 2,000, then he'll be ready to, like, they will make us to spend. That is also kind of marketing.
Absolutely.
You buy
in Amazon, your product cost is $6.99.
Right.
And then Amazon says for billing over 700 rupees, shipment free.
Right.
So for 40 rupees shipment, you are going to buy another 219 rupees product.
Right.
But that is not sin. That is good business. That's good business sense.
Yeah.
So we will get there. That's exactly what we are going to spend in the next
Sir, one question about that. When the Boost is providing you the racket, at first when we had the Boost, that at first the Boost was Boost only. After that, Boost giving the racket, then the quality of the product decreases, right? I think so, because how can the company manage this thing, that they are providing the same money to the customer and giving them the whole thing in a once that money also, and the quality will gradually decrease at that point of time, right?
Yeah, you will do one thing. you will hold on to this conversation, because when we get in further into the subject, we will study about how these marketing tools are used in business and why are they used in business.
I think it's a volume.
Okay, sure.
It's a volume which really
we
matters.
are we will discuss further. Hang on. We will discuss further. We have a lot to discuss, and hold your questions for some time. Okay.
Professor, I have a question.
Yes.
So, yes. So when any product is promoting the product, just like Boost is giving the racket with it, so that means that Boost is promoting the racket as well as its own product.
No.
Yeah.
Because
Okay. Okay.
in
So
that sense, they are encouraging to get the product with the racket. So the kids might be eager to get the racket also. So
okay. Very good.
I'm assuming that.
I must ask you a question. Who's speaking? Because in the mode in which my screen is, I cannot know who's speaking. So who's
This
speaking?
is Anushika.
Anushika, okay. There are lots of questions on this subject. So let me spend some 2 minutes talking about it. Now, Boost is a health drink. Yes, no questions about it. Now, Boost and Bonvita are similar. Yeah, you may say, no, sir, Boost mein choco zyada hai,
Both are
Bonvita.
same. Both are
Okay.
definitely same.
But let's not bother. We all know that they're all same stuff. So when both of them are same, we will get into serious discussion of this subject, but just for your information, we'll talk about it now. Now, who is making a decision at the house whether it is Boost or Bonvita? It's you, the mother, or you, the father, who is making that decision. Correct? So, हम Boost लेंगे, हम Bonvita लेंगे, because you know that Boost is better than I can't think of any other bad product. Let's say Boost is good and Horlicks is bad. So you know that
Viva was the bad product.
Okay. Viva. But
Yeah,
now,
market out.
hang on. You must stop. Okay, so now when you go to the shop to buy, you are going along with your kid. Now, at the shop, what do you notice and what does your kid notice? There is Bonvita and there is Boost. Both are similarly priced. If you look at the price between the two, there may be 1 rupee or 2 rupees difference at the most, if not similar. Now the racket comes in. And what is going on in your child's mind? The child wants the racket. The child actually wanted the racket 2 weeks back, but you said, "Nahi, abhi kharcha kam karenge. Is mahine nahi lenge," or whatever it is. But now
makes the decision, mother or father.
Yes. So the mother's decision is being influenced by the kid. So now the kid is making that strategic decision that you will not buy Bonvita this month, but you will buy Boost because there is a racket. Now the kid buys the Boost with the racket, comes to the apartment, and mute please, and comes to the apartment. When the kid walks into the apartment, the neighboring house kid sees the boy with a racket and he asks him, "How did you get it?" Then he says, "No, mommy bought Boost for me and I got racket." Just for your information, that house would have bought Bonvita 2 days back. Now, what is he going to do? He's going to the shop, buying one more box of Boost just because of the racket. Now, entire process might look very unique. Entire process may look very, very unscientific, but every bit of this is scientific. And this is exactly what we are going to be studying in the next, how many, 2 months or 3 months. We are going to see what is that particular parameter which makes that decision process happen. Now, all of this conversation is in a B2C environment. What is a B2C? There is a business, there is a customer.
Customers.
B2C, business to customer.
Right? But many a time, it is not just B2B. I mean, B2C, there is B2B. There is somebody wants to buy from businesses. Should Accenture take the network management system from this company or that company? That is a B2B conversation. The B2B conversation also has all these emotional parameters built into it, and we will discuss about it. Right now, I'm just giving you an overview, and right now I'm just giving you a trailer. Right now, I'm just, let's say, whetting your appetite. I'm just telling you what is the menu. So, abhi menu dekho pehle, to too many questions in the menu is not correct. Right?
Yes, sir. So
Right.
that means here it is both B2C and B2B both.
Everything will come. Everything will come. And you know what is this? There was an airline which said that book your tickets and your wives can fly free. You know what did the airline discover? That everybody who booked took their wives along, technically, but their wives stayed back at home. I hope you got the message. Right. So that is how promotion is all about. But the story doesn't end here. I have one more story to tell you. Is that for a long time, a bottle of shampoo would cost 74 rupees. Now, who can afford a 74 rupee bottle of shampoo? It has to be somebody who is on the slightly upper segment of the society. So then they came this company called Chick or Kevin Clean or somebody like that. And that guy said, it's the same user. I'm going to create a different concept. He made the same shampoo available for 1 rupee. What did he do? Nothing has changed. The product is the same. He just made it available for a different user. He said, at 1 rupee a packet, I'm going to create a totally new set of users who are going to be buying it. Now, he became so successful that even Head and Shoulders had to create smaller packets. So he created a niche, absolutely, very, very correct. So this is what is happening out here. Now, last but final, I think, is our conversation, is that Tata product. If you look at the Tata Nano, definitely a good product. There is no doubt about it. The Tata Nano was very nice. At 1 lakh rupees, it's probably the best thing that happened. But what did Tata Nano say? Tata Nano said that if you want a cheap car, come to me. And who wants to buy a cheap car? Nobody wants to buy a cheap car. I'm not short of money. Yes, I may be poor. I may be sitting on can afford only a two-wheeler, but I'm not an idiot to buy a cheap car. It is fine product, perfect pricing, but promotion is bad. That is why you see all these Tata Nanos had, my other car is a Jaguar. Whereas what should have been done is that the guy with a Jaguar should have carried guilt. Sorry, sir, I am the only guy driving my Jaguar. I am not anti-environment. My other car is a Tata Nano. That is the way it should have been presented. The moment I buy a Tata Nano car, what would you say? Kya Ramesh, naya car liya? No, you won't say that. Kya yaar, saste mein le liya? And so, why would I want my friends to demean me on my financial status? That was bad advertising, bad promotion. So remember, product is fine, product is same, everything is good, but it was bad decision. Finally, we'll get into 2 more and then we will wind up, or what is the time? We still have time, right? Okay. The product is fine, Nobody can doubt a General Motor product. General Motors are one of the finest cars that ever come out.
Sir, I have a question of Tata Nano, sir.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
On the
sir.
technical
Yeah.
parameters of the Tata Nano, I won't be able to answer.
No, not technically, sir. Like it has been the Tata Nano car has been targeted for low middle class leasing customers, right, sir?
Huh.
So the pricing has been less.
Who is low middle class?
Lower middle class, sir.
Who are
Like
they?
yeah, like who will be the average like daily this thing, like a small businessman or a small this thing, small salaried persons like that.
So why? But why? How is his life comes to a stop if he doesn't buy Tata Nano?
No, not like going in two-wheeler and all by two persons. They can carry their family. So for that sake of that one, so economically they have made Tata Nano, right, sir?
Yeah. So what do you think? Tell me, serious. Give me an answer. I
Sir,
know a
but
person. No, no. Okay,
starting their car,
wait. I'm asking
yeah,
you a question. I'm asking you a question.
yeah,
I have
yeah.
a friend. I have a friend who is really low. What did you say? Low middle class. No,
Yeah,
low.
lower middle class.
I have a friend who's low middle class. He's
Okay,
got a scooter. He's got
okay,
a what is it called? He has got a Dio.
okay.
What do I advise him to do? To buy a Tata Nano or to buy a second-hand
Sir,
Maruti?
it depend upon his situation. Cause
What
in
should I buy?
two-wheeler,
Second-hand
yeah.
Nano or Tata?
No, I'm not talking about second hand nano. This is two-wheeler Dio, and you are talking about Dio. That is two-wheeler, and
Hmm.
the nano car is a four-wheeler. So you
Hmm.
can have like you will get the comfortable of car four-wheeler, and in two-wheeler only you can go with two persons. In four-wheeler you can go
No,
with
no. I
four
am
with your
asking you,
family.
should he buy a
Sir,
second-hand
sir,
Maruti or a Tata Nano?
You should
Like
go.
sir,
No,
Yes.
sir, what
can I say one thing, sir?
Yes,
what
please.
he is trying to
Yes, Swaikot here. So actually, when Nano started, or they planned to start in 1 lakh rupees only car, and they planned from West Bengal. And looking at the people, lower middle means more than lower middle class people. But ultimately, the car came in 2 lakhs rupees price, more than
yeah,
that.
that's the main
So
disadvantage of
that was the
the
failure of the pricing of the Tata Nano.
yeah.
So it failed.
Well, Saikat, like pricing was definitely a thing, but we definitely call Nano as a auto, right? We'll say auto is better than a Nano. We always keep saying
Yeah,
that.
auto is better, but it is open. But
Yeah,
car
but
is
This
it's a
an
car.
Yeah.
car
So
is
like,
this
closed.
why we people are calling
Okay.
it as an
Okay.
auto is
Fine.
all our
Time out.
mental
Time
setup.
out. Time out.
yeah.
Time out. Time out.
So
Good.
car
Good.
is giving a safety
So
to
that's
people,
good. Yeah, that's
fourth
good.
person.
I think Captain is logging in. Yes, sir. You want to comment something? Okay, he just got logged out. Okay, anyway, good. That's healthy discussion, but let's move forward on that. Okay, that's
Sure,
healthy
sure.
discussion. Let's move forward on that. Finally, I want to go back to one other point, which is the product is good, the pricing is good, the credibility is great, but are you listening? We all started our conversation this morning by saying how
कितना देती
lovely
है?
a product the Nokia phone is, how lovely a product the Nokia phone is. Nokia was a running success, was virtually everywhere. Everywhere it was Nokia, and there was a feeling that nothing would shake them. But Nokia refused to pay attention to the ground, to what's the noises which are coming up from the market, from the field. Everybody wanted to have a dual SIM. But Nokia said, I know what you want. I will not give you that. And everybody knew that Nokia had to move out of Symbian to another system. They were just arrogant. They refused to listen to the information from the ground. And that's exactly why some of these companies did not do well. So I'm going to move forward from this subject to primarily say that many a time the product is not the issue, the promotion is the issue. Many a time the product is not the issue, it's the pricing which is the issue. Many a time it's not credibility, but it's just that you're not listening to your customers. So that was the point that I wanted to tell you. There are lots of companies which have done well and failed, will go beyond that. I'm going to give you one more kind of a test or whatever you want to call it, Google form to be filled up, is that we have seen over the last 10 months or 11 months, we have seen some companies do very well, and we have seen some companies do rather badly. We have seen some companies perform very well, and we can see that some companies have not done well. Even within the own sector, even within the whole sector, we all know that Domino's has been doing brilliant during the pandemic, but the same doesn't apply to Pizza Hut possibly. We know that Big Basket had a wonderful opportunity, but they lost out. We know that worldwide that Home Depot is done well despite the pandemic, that they have done well. We know that Patanjali had some advantages, but they didn't do well. They messed it up. Some Ayurvedic companies are done because if not you, if not your mother, if not your wife and kid, we are having an overdose of immunity stuffs that are coming in. We go to all kinds of places in Bangalore to buy stuffs which are supposed to help your immunity. Vitamin D, G, F, all letters on the alphabet are now used on the vitamin to do it. So my question to you is, as we move forward, is that can you name a company which is done well despite the fact that the sector hasn't done well? I hope you get my question on this. I want you to log in one more time to the Google Forms and fill up this. I'll give you about 10 minutes to do it. Right? Name a company which has survived the pandemic and done well, while the similar company from the same sector has not done well. So,
just one question. Like these online food ordering companies like Swiggy, Zomato, etc. Do they come under the hospitality sector or like no?
Anything, anything. You believe Swiggy did well and Zomato did bad, go ahead, write 2 lines about it and explain. That's all. I'm just trying to understand how well are you following my conversation. I just want to understand how deep are you guys able to think.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I think you have pasted the same link, the earlier link, because the one ending on the screen is
okay.
55.
I didn't copy it, looks like. I didn't.
Yeah, no problem, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I didn't. I assumed that.
Yes, sir, you have pasted the same link.
Now this is correct, right? Is this correct?
Yes, sir, you are right now. Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
That's right. That's right.
I saw Captain login. I was just wondering if he wanted to say something. We have about 10, 15 minutes, I think. Perfect. Yeah, plenty of time. So I'll take a 2 minutes break. My video and audio are on. I'll just join.
Sure, sure.
Remember, there are no wrong answers. It's just that how are you following my subject? How are you able to get along? For those of you who have completed it, I just want to make sure that you are following me. Are you okay with the speed of the conversation? Do you think I'm running fast or do you think I'm too slow? We can always fine tune the conversation.
I think your speed of delivery has been very good, sir.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Be able to follow you. Thank you.
Oh, great. Thanks. It should be 200. No. I just put a limiter so that, Kavita, you don't write long sentences. You can say a few lines. It can be even less than 100 character. Doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that I have it. Okay.
It is asking minimum 200 characters.
Is he saying so?
Yes.
Minimum. Oh my God. Okay. No problem. Then I will do one thing. I might need to correct that. Let's move along. Fill this up before the end of the day for me, and then we'll go forward. Okay. We will. Yeah. So let me state that loud and clear. Since it's
In 200 characters only, we should fill
Minimum
it by the end of the day.
characters. Minimum 200 characters.
Okay.
It's not possible, sir.
Not allowing to save actually. That error.
Okay. Listen to me carefully. If it's saying minimum 200 characters, then I will edit it to make sure that are you able to, minimum doesn't mean that mandatory 200. Is that what it's saying?
Sir, it is showing actually maximum 200 characters, not minimum.
Maximum 200.
No, it is saying at least 200 characters.
Yeah, it says minimum 200.
At
Otherwise, it
least,
doesn't allow
yes.
to submit.
Okay, fine. Time out. Okay, I'll correct it. Let's move on with it. You fill this up by the end of the day today. Okay?
Link will be same, right?
Link will be same. I'll just edit the parameters there, fill it up, and move forward. Okay.
Sir, I've already submitted. Will I have
Good,
to resubmit?
If you have submitted it, absolutely fine.
Okay,
No, don't do that, Kavita. Don't add spaces. We will we'll do that again. Okay. So let me type it so that you understand. You will submit before the end of the day. Okay, perfect. Right, now let's move forward. How many of you have read this book called Who Moved My Cheese? Srinivasan. Excellent. Right. You know it. Okay, very good. So what have I done? What have I done in the last 45 1 hour? Mute. What have I done in the last 45 1 hour or since we class is that I'm trying to understand you. I got number of years of experience that you have. I got an idea of which company do you think you like. I had you write in about 140 characters. Then I had you to look at companies even without your marketing background, or if you're from a marketing background, I encouraged you to think a little differently and fill in which companies did well or not. Now I'm also trying to look at each of you, what kind of books you read and how do we get there. Okay. Yeah, perfect, Srinivasan. So Who Moved My Cheese is a very funny book. And why is that a very funny book? Can you mute, please? It's becoming a little irritating for me now. Okay. Yeah, I hope everybody is muted. Somebody who is not. Okay. Okay, good. So who?
Stephen Lobo, can you please mute?
You know, the best thing to do is to actually mute you all. But then what happens, there's not much of a conversation and you will have to type it. So each of you should follow some ethic and mute. Okay. No, I don't want to do that, Rukmini. It's fine, no problem. So Who Moved My Cheese is a funny book. It's a very funny book because in that time of the there was a story about a cheese factory. In this cheese factory, there were a couple of mice. Okay, they would sit cozily And whenever they felt hungry, uh, they would go to the nearest place and eat some cheese. And they lived some very nice, happy life. Life was bindas. There was no problem in life. Everything was going fine. Hungry, go eat cheese. One fine day, when they got up and they noticed that the cheese is gone. So when the cheese is gone, they started getting worried. Oh my God, what's happened to the cheese? Who's typing? Yeah, mute, please. Okay, good. Uh, what happened to the cheese? My cheese is gone. But they didn't know what to do next. So one of them said, Arey yaar, that cheese is gone because every Friday, every Thursday, every Monday, we should have told our prayers. We didn't tell our prayers. Dekho, this is what happens when we don't tell our prayers, the cheese is gone. Somebody said, no, 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 a cheese is gone. Whoever it is, I feel deprived. I feel cheated that the cheese is gone. Now, what is God? My God, I'm feeling helpless now. Life is going to come to an end. Somebody said, no, 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 my God, this is the end of the world. But one smart mouse said, it's okay, cheese is gone, but maybe it is moved to the next room. Let me go to the next room and find out. The eldest of the cheese, I'm getting confused between cheese and mouse. The eldest of the mouse said, hey, I have been living in this room for so many years. This is our world. This is our life. We have to stay here. Don't you dare go out. You don't know what is out there. So all kinds of things were happening. Some were blaming their friend for eating more cheese. Somebody was blaming the gods. Somebody felt cheated. Somebody said what to do next. But one person said, enough, I'm going to move out. So the moment he or that mouse moved out, that's it. They don't know what happened to the mouse. So there were all kinds of stories that mouse moved out and he got eaten away by a couple of cats and all that. But in reality, the mouse that moved out actually noticed that, yes, cheese got over, but there was another room full of nice butter or nice bread, and he continued to eat it. Now, this is what the story is all about. Simple story, right? Simple, funny story. But what is it that the message is coming? Is that in all our lives, we assume the cheese is there. You should have watched, you should have noticed. Arey yaar, kal 50 kilo cheese tha. Today the cheese has become 10 kilos. Should I not be worried? What is going to happen? But while the story is about the cheese and the mouse, the story is actually about you and your career. How much of us are blaming our bosses? How many of us are blaming our companies for the disaster that we are in? And how many of us are owning the responsibility for where we are in? We are assuming that this career, this job, this skill set that I have developed is that is going to take me all my life. How many of us, I don't know if one of the professors who spoke about, I forgot his name, he mentioned saying that I was with Hutchison Max. Incidentally, it so happened that I also worked with them. That's why I recall that introduction of his. He said, I was in Hutchison Max and I was in the paging industry. I don't even know how many of you know what is a pager. But to assume that I'm going to be an expert in paging industry and that will be all my life, not going to be. Pagers will be replaced by mobile phones. Mobile phones will be replaced by something else. Don't we feel sorry for somebody like Godrej who made the best typewriters but did not come out with the best printers? How many companies have we seen who have just refused to hang on and do well? It happens all the time. So why am I saying this is what is the lesson from Who Moved My Cheese. Change happens all the time. Whatever I have learned, will become outdated. Amazon may be the leader now. 10 years from later, Amazon may be history. Anticipate change. Things are going to move. Things are going to be different. In every sector, what works today will not work tomorrow. And look for change. Look around. Notice what is happening. Okay, and see what is happening, see which business is doing good, see who are losing jobs, see which are the new jobs that are coming. Monitor, adapt to change. You must. They talk about new protocols, new things. How many of our jobs are getting automated? Jobs are getting automated so fast. So nowadays, we don't even know whether it's a person on the other end of the phone or is it a robo or whatever you want to call it, a bot on the other side. And most importantly, change is good. Be ready to change. And my statement is don't always go for cheese. There are other products in your life. Look at parathas, look at Manchurians. So why am I saying this? This is one of the very rudimentary management books that one must read. If you have not read anything, this book is probably takes you 30 minutes to read. So, and I'm sure you all know how to download such books and all that. So read this book, get yourself adapted, and move on further. Now I come to a first particular slide. What is the time? Okay, we got another 15 minutes. So I need to know how do I shut down correctly. Marketing and life are very, very similar. That is the first time that I'm using the word marketing at almost 2 hours of class. Okay, marketing and life are very, very similar. Marketing and life, if you don't get a feedback, you are dead. If you don't know what the industry is doing, if you don't know how the company thinks of you, or if you don't evaluate yourself with the surroundings around you, you will die. Marketing is similar. You may have a product, but if you don't know whether your product is appreciated, liked by your customer, you will die. You will die. So many of the companies you've noticed is that there was a time when you bought a mobile phone and the charger was European charger. I don't know how many of you remember those old Nokia phones. Those plugs would only get into the European sockets. And now you had to move out of it to be able. Now they have understood and they have adapted themselves to an Indian charger. Small examples, I'm saying. There's so many examples that we will learn to do it. So marketing is very important in our own lives. Why is marketing so important? Because of the following statement. If you have no money, you cannot make a product. If you have product and you have, okay, whatever. If you have a product, if you have money, if you have no customer, then if you have no customer, and then if you have no sales, you have no business. You know this slide. I'm not going to read it for you. Finally, this is what it is. If you have sales, but you don't do marketing, you don't get customer feedback. You may sell the first 100 numbers of the product, but then did you know what the customer felt about you? So marketing is the only line of the entire business of management which interacts with the customer and gives you a feedback. Okay. So any questions on this so far? My mobile number, you will find it there. Okay. So gentlemen, this is what is marketing. Marketing is everywhere. God is everywhere. So marketing is God. Repeat after me. Okay, I'm just joking. Okay. So marketing is God. I'm open for questions now. Let me see what is on my next slide. Okay, I think, okay, any questions? Any questions so far before I move into the next topic? Good.
So Sarani here.
Yes.
Actually, that assignment which you have given for that submitting, I tried submitting multiple times. It is not taking. That 200 characters it is showing. If I'm putting 3-4 words also, it is showing the
So
same.
wait. Got it. So what do you think, Rajat? What do you think, Siddharth, she should do?
So actually, she can write the whole thing on the 200 words because 200
My
words is so
God,
less.
Siddharth.
No, so less. 200 is so less to.
Yeah, means like 3-4 words also. If I'm putting, it is not taking.
What do you think I told? What do you
Yeah, he
think?
said to wait, right?
Yeah,
Wait
200
till
plus is
evening.
accepted,
Wait till
right?
evening. You can
Yeah,
wait till
he
evening.
asked to wait till evening and submit later.
Right.
Yes.
I asked you all saying that there could be a error
Correction.
instead of saying a minimum of 200 words. It may be asking
Maximum can be anything.
So hold on to your horses for the end of the day.
I have submitted. Oh,
So we can
You have
put some jump
submitted
characters.
200 words. Don't do that. Yeah. So don't waste same thing again and again. Okay. Are you
So
telling?
we can put some jump characters and make it 200.
Okay, fine. Let's move on. Good. So marketing, you know what is a market, right? You know what is a market? A market is a place where everybody comes to sell their products. Now, what do you notice? What do you notice in the market is that some people are selling better, some people are selling bad. Why are they selling better? Why are they selling bad? Immediate answer, their product is better. The follow-up answer to it is they know how to sell it. What do you mean by they know how to sell it? Is that who do you think is making money? I'm going to ask you a very simple question. Assuming that you are driving from Bangalore to Mysore or Bangalore to any other place on the highway, you see this coconut vendor. Okay, what is it called? Coconut water vendor or nariyal pani, whatever it's called.
Tender coconut.
Under coconut.
So there is this first guy who's got this tender coconut. You look at him and then you move forward. You look at another fellow some 1 kilometer later. Then you go another 1 kilometer. At the fourth fellow, you stop because the first fellow, you look at it, you think of buying, but since you're driving very fast, you notice that only at the third fellow, which is 3 or 4 kilometers later, you are able to plan up and stop. So what do you think he's doing? The
Advertisement.
He has put up the location at the right.
Yeah, so the fourth fellow is making the sale because he is already has a customer who is getting into the mood of buying, right? So sometimes we notice that the guy who is selling products near the parking place is selling better than the guy who is in somewhere far away. So many things will happen in a marketing decision. Some markets are open, some of them know how to present their market. We will talk more about it in the classes to come. Okay. Marketing involves all of these: branding, retailing, cataloging, Google search, all of this we will get into some way or the other. Then, how many of you know this? What is this? Who is the marketer here? Who is the marketer?
Adam and Eve here.
Snake.
The snake.
The
serpent.
Marketer.
Snake, sir.
What is the snake telling them? Is that bite into this apple and you will have a wonderful life. So he is tempting them to buy it. Okay, very good. Now, how many of you have seen these things? They're all marketing. Who are these guys on the left? They're all religious heads. What are they marketing you? Saying that if you behave well, if you follow my religion, then afterlife will be lovely. Now, who has come back and commented to them that there is no afterlife, or have they got a feedback? Yes, Swami ji, आपने जो बोला ठीक है स्वर्ग में. No. So these guys are selling you a product which they have customers who will never come back seeking for refund because of the way the business is. That is one kind of marketing that happens. There's another kind of marketing which happens. How many of these guys on the right do you know? All of them come to you once in every 4 years and tell you that, vote for me, I'll do the best thing for you. They are also busy marketing. So everybody is marketing. Why is everybody marketing? Is because marketing, even you are marketing. I don't know if I have a slide which says you are marketing. That should have been there. Oh my God, that slide, I don't know for a reason. You are marketing yourself all the time. You're marketing yourself all the time. During the inauguration session, every professor was marketing himself, was telling you, why do you think you are at the right industry? Why do you think you should sit and listen to my class? It's because I have something unique to offer. You are marketing yourself all the time. You are telling your boss that I have done a better job. Give me the assignment. I will do better. Everybody is marketing himself all the time. So that said, these are some examples of marketing. Now is the first slide on a graphical presentation. What does this say? All of us have grown up. I'll take another 10 minutes and we'll wind up. Okay? This is because I want to get over this slide and then I'm going to go over it. All of us know that when price falls, consumption rises. Correct? When the price of rice falls, more rice will be bought. When the price of Apple phone drops, more phones will be bought. When the price of internet falls, more consumption will happen. That's a pure supply and demand curve. Wilson and Vignesh, absolutely perfectly fine. Just give me 10 minutes. Okay. Then, however, let's look at 3 other kinds of slides. What are these 3 other kinds of slides? One slide which says price falls, consumption rises. That's what we all know. Price falls, consumption rises. But when price falls, consumption also falls. Oh my God, what is this? When price falls, consumption also falls is one option. The third is when price rises, consumption also rises. Now, all this are quite contradicting to each other. Can you give me an example of price falls, consumption falls? Can any of you think of an example of price falls, consumption
Real
falls?
estate. Suppose I am buying a flat. Right. If the price is low, then I think there is some problem.
Old mobiles.
Nice. Okay, old may not be a product as such. Oh, maybe that's a good idea.
Old mobiles. Nokia, Chrono set.
Apart from old mobiles, what else can you think of?
A nano, like you quoted earlier.
Nano. Okay, we'll not go out of nano, but tell me, there was something related to the auto industry last 2019. Yeah, exactly around this time, 2019, October, November, December, prices of cars were falling badly, but people are not buying. Why?
There was
Because
a new
stock clearance.
regulation
Stock
BS6
clearance
due to
of
BSV engines.
Absolutely. So
Regulation,
price
regulation.
falls, are kuch to gadbad hai, isn't it? So I'm not going to.
So actually, after that, the corona comes, and the thing becomes that masks and sanitizer could become like anything. And right now, if BS6 vehicles are on the market, and after that, everybody will definitely try to buy cars and anything. But the pollution doesn't harm us. Corona will definitely do us nothing, but pollution will definitely do us nothing. And the hand sanitizer will leave our body like anything. So I hope that this is the marketing thing. that Corona's marketing of
Absolutely.
sanitism.
Absolutely. Good. So that's an example of price falls, consumption falls. What is the example of price rises versus consumption rises?
Sanitizers.
Hand sanitizer.
You have given already an example of Vidyarthi Bhavana. I think though the prices are high.
No, Vidyarthi Bhavan prices are high. Vidyarthi Bhavan example
Vegetables,
comes later.
grocery, vegetables.
Technology products.
Vegetables.
Technology products.
Come on, who is saying groceries? If the price of groceries goes up, you will buy more groceries or less groceries?
Pharmaceutical.
Apple iPhone.
The best example is
saying
iPhone.
Apple iPhone?
iPhone, sir.
iPhone is
True.
the best example.
Every
is the best
technology
example.
products, when that
Absolutely.
technology
Okay.
products
Time
come
out,
into the
time out,
market.
time out,
Okay,
time
sorry,
out.
sir.
Okay.
So any vanity products, sir.
So,
Any
so the
vanity
point
products.
is, okay, so good, nice, interactive. Here is what it is. We know that price falls, consumption rises is a standard graph. But when price was, consumption falls is beyond a point if the perceived value of the product is lower. I mean, if the price of the product is lower than what you perceive it to be, then you will not buy it. That means to say that you believe that a cup of coffee should cost you 10 rupees and somebody offers you coffee for 2 rupees, you will find something fishy. You will not buy it. So when the price falls beyond a perceived value, nobody will buy it. Second is when price rises, consumption rises. Because we believe that the company is good, the price rises, we believe that there is some value add to it. Now, the cost of a fine bottle of wine, the higher the cost of wine, the more likely that you will buy because you want to celebrate the occasion in a nicer manner. So that is what is the three graphs that are there. I put up this Vidyarthi Bhavan for primarily, if no, for many of you, this is a nice restaurant to go and have dosa. But unfortunately, there is a huge waiting queue outside. You have to wait for half an hour, 45 minutes to do that. Now, the guy who owns this place is a good friend of mine. He was one of the finest engineers I had ever known. Time out. Let me complete my story. Okay. So his father pointed a gun at him and said, "You have to run the hotel or I'll have to sell it." So I asked this guy that you have so much of place, why don't you expand and add more tables? For that, he said, if I add more tables and if there are less people waiting in the queue, there is an assumption that the quality is not all that good. That's why people are not coming. They may not notice that there are more tables. So purposeful, wanted creation of market demand is something which is there. That is why you see that last two flats left, or when you're trying to book tickets, it says going away fast, clearing up. So they are tempting you to do it. So these are what it is. But for the last point of today's conversation is that this is the definition of marketing. Price to consumption is a linear curve. Price to consumption.
Mr. Ramesh, you'll have to wind up.
Yes. I've got a minute and I'm winding up. Okay. Price to consumption is a linear curve. It's marketing which makes it non-linear. So we'll take up from this point in our next class. So thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the session. I think I've overshot the scheduled time. And good day to all of you. See you in the next class.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Good.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, sir.